Hey, this is Sean from Your Arms, and today we have another New Products Weekly video. But today what we're going to be doing is actually introducing this new product to the market, and it's the JMac Customs. It's the AKM pattern. It's the railed dust cover. This thing is freaking sweet, and it's sweet because of a couple different things. One is it's JMac Custom, and they make awesome stuff. But another is that it actually helps, or it returns Optic Zero every single time. And there's a couple reasons for that. How they have this thing designed and how they have it set up is pretty dang cool, and I'm going to go through some of those. So first off, again, this is for the AKM pattern rifles. This specific one does have to be married up to the MMS handguard, so you can run just the bottom half with the stock gas tube from the AK, or I think it looks better when you run this whole setup like this, running the JMac Custom MMS gas tube up top and the lower handguard, which is a free float handguard. But it is then, the dust cover is going to be attaching on the top here, which is going to be one of the main ways that it is maintaining its zero, but the other is within the system itself and how it's set up. So first off, the system is 7075 T6 aluminum. It is type 3 hard coat anodized. It is durable, but also light. The installation of this was insanely easy. I just had to take off the dust cover. You do have to change out your recoil rod, part of it, just the back half, and you reuse the front half, the cap, and then the spring, and then it just starts going together super simple. But again, the benefits of this bad boy is you can run modern optics on it. You can run something like an LPVO, or like we have this EOTech on here, and it's going to return to zero every single time that you are lifting up that dust cover. So if you have to lift up the dust cover to strip it out, strip it down to a field strip, do a cleaning, whatever it might be, and you end up bringing that back down, it's going to be returning back to zero. And the reason for that is how this bad boy is set up. Let me switch this around. How this bad boy is set up on the back side here. So kind of hard to see, but down on the bottom, what you're going to be adding is a lower anchor block, and that anchor block has a set screw. Now that combination of that lower anchor block, which slides in where your recoil rod normally would slide in, that is, and that set screw is what's going to help maintain that windage setting. And on the back here, you have a little notch. That notch corresponds, or the notch corresponds with that extra piece of metal to make sure that every single time this dust cover goes down, it's interfacing properly, it's locking, and it's going to be in the same exact position. Therefore, you're always going to have your zero maintained. Super simple again for setup. I thought it was going to be way harder, and it really wasn't. It only took me a handful of minutes once I stripped down the AK. And most of the time was because I also put on all the stuff up front, including the JMac Customs, the bridge. It's a QD bridge that goes over that sling mount, which protects your hand from touching what can be very hot under a whole lot of shooting. But super simple. So if I do pull this apart and I pull this recoil spring out so that you can have a little bit better view of this, again, all we're doing is changing this back half, and then it's going to be now interfacing, instead of interfacing into the receiver like it normally does, it would be interfacing into that anchor block. And it's got little dovetail cuts, or kind of, I don't know if you'd call them dovetail, but whatever. Again, super easy. Slide that back in, and I'm going to be interfacing that with that recoil block, or that anchor block, just like that. Now I'm good to go. Also, a little thing on the back here, JMac put on there on purpose, Justin did, is a little dimple, and that's just to use, you can use like bullet, like an actual cartridge and bullet to push that in if you needed to, if it was a little bit hard, because some rifles, they're harder than others, but it was pretty simple. So one of the cool, unique features that I really want to talk about also is when it comes to putting on the dust cover, once it's mounted to the MMS handguard, you have the abilities to adjust how it's going to fit. Now, we all know, those of us that know anything about AKs know that they're all different, right? The specs are different from brand to make. Even same brand can have a little bit different from one to the other. So JMac Customs made sure that you had the ability to adjust how this dust cover was riding, and that's the forward and back on the rifle as well as up and down. And they do it by these little bad boys up here. Now these are on each side, and they're octagonal adjustment nuts, however you want to call it. It's adjustment hardware. And on the inside, it's square, and that octagonal, how you rotate it is going to be either pitching up, changing the cant, pushing it back and forth of the dust cover. And so it allows you to get it set how you want, find what part of that hardware is going to fit the best. You lock it in and then torque it down, and you have yourself a setup that works the best for you. It gives you, I think it was 8 different settings, essentially, to make that fit the best that you can based on your AKM rifle. Overall, I'm super stoked about it. I mean, it absolutely changed the way that this rifle looks. When we started this morning, this thing had your standard AKM wooden grips and then just your standard smooth-faced dust cover on it. And now you got yourself a beautiful looking AKM. We left the triangular stock, which JMac Customs has a whole lot of options there. And then they also have options for pistol grip. I just kind of left that stock because that wasn't what this video is about. But I think we're going to kind of build this rifle out a whole lot more. One of the next videos we're going to be doing with it is just showing how it maintains and holds its zero. We'll take it out to the range. We'll get it zeroed, and then we'll take the dust cover off, put it down, so on and so forth. Do that a bunch of different times and just show how well it is maintaining its zero. Because that's been one of the traditional issues with having an optic mounted on the dust cover, was that it just could not maintain zero. So you're left with utilizing options, replacing your rear sight, kind of interfacing off that rear sight block, or doing something like this where the handguard, but then handguards again have the potential to move. So overall, pretty stoked to be releasing this and talking about it. Very stoked about handling it. I think it just looks freaking awesome, and it's just going to give you the abilities now, especially this entire setup, to turn your AK into a little bit more of a modern rifle. Being able to slap on a laser or an IR device, something like a MAL or a PEC or D-ball. You can be running your weapon lights as well. You can change up and run different style grips. I kind of did this guy here because it's got a little bit of a Tarkov feel. But it also makes sense with AKs. You have to rock that magazine forward. And if you're running a standard vertical, that's going to be hitting. So typically with an AK, you have something smaller or you have something that's slanted. So now running that 45-degree offset is allowing you to still reload your magazines just fine. So anyways, pretty solid, pretty fun, excited about it. Jump on the website, take a look at all the offerings that JMac Customs has, but especially this bad boy because it is solid up top. And yeah, be on the lookout for that video. If you're unsure, we'll show you how well it maintains zero. Hey everybody, thanks for spending some more time on another New Products Weekly video. This week we got to release this bad boy here. Please jump on the website, check it out, but also take some time to like, subscribe, comment down below. Let us know what way we should build this bad boy out, but also let us know if you've got any, or if you've had the ability to use any of the JMac Custom stuff, because I'm a big fan of it. I think they do a phenomenal job. Again, thank you so much for spending time with us. We always appreciate the support. And we'll see you again in the next one.